If you're a leader or a manager watching your team struggle with stress and burnout, this video is for you. Your company is spending almost twice as much on mental health as traditional sick leave, and you probably don't even know it's happening. The cost is invisible on your balance sheet. It's called presenteeism, and it's hidden. That's when people show up to work when they're struggling mentally. They're sitting at their desk, but they can't concentrate. They're in meetings, but they're not able to communicate clearly. And they're trying to work, but their brain isn't cooperating. And this is costing you 2 to 3 times more than when people actually take sick leave. If you don't know me, my name is Mania Linsky. I'm a survivor of the Boston Marathon bombing. I've delivered a TEDx talk that helped change how we think about invisible trauma, and I helped pass federal legislation to expand mental health support after disasters. All because my own city told me that my trauma didn't count because I walked away without a scratch. So I know what it's like when systems fail people who are struggling. And I'm going to show you why your workplace mental health system is failing your team right now. Around a third to a half of adults will experience a mental health challenge at some point in their lives. That's not a small number. Think about that. That could be half your team. In many organizations, mental health is now the leading cause of long-term sickness absence, higher than physical injuries. And yet mental health gets a fraction of the attention and the resources. Your workplace has detailed procedures for lifting boxes safely, probably. You have protocols for fire drills. You have policies for reporting when there's a physical injury. But when someone is struggling mentally, the system has one response: go to the doctor. Get them out of the workplace. You disengage them from their support network, and then everything falls apart. Workplace mental health isn't a medical problem. It's a communication problem. And your current system is designed to avoid that conversation entirely. Let me walk you through what actually happens when someone on your team starts struggling. Okay, life happens. A parent dies, a relationship ends, medical bills pile up. These are normal life stresses that so many of us face. But your employee doesn't have time to deal with them. They show up to work anyway. That's presenteeism. They're physically there, but mentally they're drowning. They start making mistakes. They can't concentrate. They get irritable with customers or colleagues. They know something's wrong, but they can't talk to their manager about it. And why not? Because they don't know if their manager will support them or stigmatize them. They don't know if they'll get help or they'll get managed out of the organization. So they stay silent. And then the manager doesn't know anything is wrong. The employee keeps struggling, and they completely disconnect from the workplace, a place where they actually want to be. Because many people who are struggling with mental health want to stay connected to work if they feel supported there. They just need that support. But your system pushed them out. And once they're out, people rarely come back in the same way. They disengage, they don't feel connected to the team, they start looking for other jobs. Or they do come back, but they're just never the same. That cycle is happening in your organization right now, and it is completely avoidable. Now, your managers are the front line of mental health support, whether they know it or not. When someone on their team starts struggling, they're the first person who should notice and who should offer support. But they so often don't. It's not because they don't care. It's because they're terrified. They don't have any training on having conversations with people with mental health issues. They don't know what to say. They don't know when to say it. And they're afraid if they say something, it will make it worse. So they default to one of two responses. Either they say something like, yeah, we're all stressed, it's just really difficult times, and dismiss it, or they immediately refer that person to a doctor or a therapist. But both of those responses avoid the actual conversation and an actual connection. They make the problem worse. Let me tell you 2 stories to show exactly what I mean. Daniel, senior manager at a global firm, consistently exceeded expectations at every performance review. Then his mother died. He took 2 or 3 days of compassionate leave and came back to work. He tried to organize some flexible working conditions. He wanted to work more hours during the week so he could take Fridays off, but his manager said no. And the reason he said no, we let you do it, everyone's going to want to do it. And he couldn't talk to his manager after that. That broke the relationship. So he did go to a doctor and he got signed off for extended sick leave. But he disengaged from the organization. He got his union involved. The cost of losing a skilled employee can reach tens of thousands of dollars. Daniel never properly came back to the workforce. Now let me tell you about Kathleen. She was a senior manager at an international charity. Her father died, and her manager said something completely different. Kathleen, I don't think you're okay. I think you need some more time off. Let's arrange work from home and a phased return for you back to work in the office. She still works for that organization. She's still a high performer. In fact, she's an advocate for that employee. And the difference between those stories? One conversation. One manager was trained to have a human conversation. The other wasn't. That global firm could have saved tens of thousands of dollars. All they needed was a manager who knew how to listen. Your organization is probably investing in mental health support right now. You might have an employee assistance program. You might have mindfulness apps. You might have a mental health awareness week with posters in the bathroom. You might even have resilience training. But so much of this is missing the point. Resilience training is corporate gaslighting. It tells your employees that the problem isn't the workload. The problem isn't that they have to check their email at 11 o'clock at night. It isn't being asked to do more with less resources. The problem is you're not resilient enough to handle it. And that's shifting the blame onto the employee. You don't need more resilient employees. You need a less toxic workplace and work structures. Mental Health Awareness Week, that is so often just performative. Everyone is already aware that mental health matters. What they lack in the workplace is permission to speak safely. They lack a manager who knows how to listen. Awareness without action is just expensive wallpaper. And your employee assistance program, it could be great, but many of them have long wait times, often several weeks before someone can get into therapy. Or it costs that person hundreds of dollars for private therapy. Compare that to the cost of losing an employee, or months of lost productivity, or the cost of recruitment and training a new employee. The math just doesn't make sense. What your people want costs you almost nothing. They want permission to speak safely. They want a manager who will listen to them. And they want to know that asking for help won't get them managed out of the organization. That's it. You could probably solve this with a tray of sandwiches and a pack of Post-it notes. Get everyone who's been off sick in a room and ask them what would have helped you, and then listen to what they say. Write it down, and here's the really important part. Do it. Do something. That's the solution. Workplace mental health isn't a wellness problem. It's a leadership problem. The first conversation with an employee should happen in the workplace, not in the doctor's office. Most workplace mental health issues are organizational problems, not medical conditions. When leaders talk about mental health openly, people listen. That positive language cascades down through the organization. It builds trust. And talking about mental health issues doesn't make people unwell. It gives them permission to seek help. And leaders who do this get respect. So your managers need training, not on clinical psychology, but on human conversations. They need to know how to see the signs, how to recognize them, what to say, and when to shut up and listen. The rule of thumb is simple. Be the manager you would want if you were struggling. That's it. Your policies need to change. Right now, they're very likely much too long and full of jargon, and they are designed to protect the organization, not support the employee. And trust me, your employees know that. Your procedure for taking absences is a disengagement machine. That first day someone calls in sick is a golden opportunity to offer support, to have a conversation, not just check a box. And when someone needs flexibility because something in life happened to them, give it to them. The cost of saying yes is negligible. The cost of saying no could be tens of thousands of dollars. Think about Daniel and Kathleen. One conversation, one decision, completely different outcomes. Your team is struggling right now. Up to half of them might be facing mental health challenges during their career. They want to be at work. They just need support to stay there. But your current system is pushing them out. It's costing you 2 to 3 times more than traditional sick leave, and it's completely avoidable. The solution isn't consultants or awareness campaigns or apps. The solution is permission to speak and managers who actually listen. Mental health is everyone's responsibility all the time. That conversation is much more valuable than the consultant. Keeping people engaged is cheaper than managing them out. The manager you'd want to have is the manager you should be. The future isn't virtual reality training and artificial intelligence chatbots. The future is probably sandwiches and Post-it notes and real, honest human conversations. If you want to learn more about how to actually have these conversations with your team, I've got another video that breaks down exactly what to say and when to say it. Thanks for watching.